My name is Amahle Jaxa. My parents decided to give me a double barrel name, which is 13 letters, which means absolutely nothing put together. I'm from the Eastern Cape, born in Queenstown, raised in East London. Moved to Joburg to study a lot of things, but ended up with a degree in BA Politics, Philosophy and Economics. I was one of those who was not necessarily forced into a degree, but like nudged. And my mom was always into this whole like, you're gonna do business studies and business management and all that other stuff. But my true passion is politics. I love politics. My dad was in Robben Island. I grew up on politics, so that's what I felt I wanted to do. So when we started Until, I was actually in a gap year of sorts. And it started obviously, the story is as old as time. Friends want to throw a party, they do it successfully, and then they continue throwing more. So it then happened that whilst we were building Until, I was still studying. And Until was actually paying for my fees. Those would come directly from the company. So we were bored, and we wanted to throw a party. We'd always wanted to throw parties. We were partiers in Joburg. So we always found that we liked different kinds of music, but those musics, if that's even a real word, were never together. Yeah, so we would love to go to like an electronic festival, and we'd love to go to a hip hop festival, and we loved house. And so one day we were sitting and we said, let's throw a party. It was June 16th. That Friday, it was a long weekend. And we decided to call the party High School Cool. And then we themed it, because we were obsessed with themes. We themed it uniforms, so people came in their school uniforms. My mom did not courier mine from East London. I had to go buy one from Pep. And yeah, so then that was the first party. And then the more events we started throwing, the more we then realized brands didn't at the time understand what they were doing. This is before influencing, this is before, you know, proper brand alignments. Brands would just arrive at your party, set up benches and leave. You know what I mean? There was no proper creative. And so then that's when we saw the avenue of like, let's also become a creative agency for brands. So we have also pivoted in that way with certain brands. And yeah, that's how it was born. I think it was our understanding of vibe, curation, crowd, our understanding of entertainment, our close ties to entertainment. One of our founders at the time, you know, his mom is quite a famous singer in South Africa. But more than anything, we just wanted to create something different. It was so boring, you know, and for me, why we continue to still do it to this day is because there's all these ideas that we come up with, like, what if you went into a festival and you didn't have to pay for anything, and then a Bacardi Holiday Club is born, you know, which is an all-inclusive festival. Or, you know, I'm from out of town, Tools, other directors from out of town, so Sunday Roast was born out of, why don't we feed people and like get them to have Sunday lunch with us, and then you have a Sunday Roast, you know? So I think just generally we're just creative in nature. We really are passionate about entertainment and creating experiences. I always say I'm in the business of fun. And I think that's what keeps us all going. And I see some people, Royale has a lot of regulars who were here before we acquired it last year. I want them to feel like this is their drinking hole. You know, any kind of person can walk into Royale. You know, you don't have to be dressed a certain way. You don't have to, I mean, life has forced us to kind of increase prices, but we're decently priced. You know, the Royale existed before us. I want you to feel at home. I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to wear whatever you want. I want you to drink whatever you want. I want you to have delicious cocktails. I want you to have 10 tequilas. This is Until's home now. The events would travel, they would come sporadically. Now if you want to feel the essence of Until consistently, it's here at the Royale. So I think I've said this a gazillion times. I don't know if we still employ it, but I think we figured it out. In the beginning, we would get into a lot of fights. And that's because everyone was everything. So we didn't have designations. I wasn't chief of operations. I was just one day you're working the door, the next day you're finance, the next day, you know, so you would clash like that. So I think once we had our designated roles, it was easier to then hold someone accountable to what they do, as opposed to me shouting at tools saying, you didn't go fetch the tags yesterday, but tags are an ops situation, you know? But more than anything, we have this one rule where we lead with respect for each other because we are friends. 2, what happened yesterday doesn't come in today. If you wanted to come in today, you call that meeting with immediate effect with the person and you say, look, I didn't like the way you spoke to me yesterday, this is my issue, and you solve it immediately. Because once you let things linger, you foster, you know, bad vibes. I think it first starts from being excluded as a black person in a country where you're a majority, which is kind of weird for some of us who are Model C. You know, you didn't get invited to Tom's party or this or that. And then as things evolved and we got more educated, we used to have hectic debates about what LGBTQ means, you know, for example. As time grew, it isn't more about inclusivity more than it is about making sure that anyone who wants to attend my event can, you know, and then we became deliberate about it. We became deliberate about protecting not only women, but the community of the LGBTQ, because we have friends that are in that community, you know, some have siblings, you know, how could we not be inclusive? It's such a crazy question to ask because I don't even know how to answer it, because I don't even know why people aren't inclusive. Someone actually said to me, which was crazy, is that you've done what we were all scared to do. And I don't know why they were scared, because we're talking about human beings. And so from the jump for us, inclusivity was just so important, because friends, family, and why the hell not? You know, I don't get it. Like, I used to be very aggressive, and then I went to therapy. How I've dealt with it is, I no longer fight for myself. I let the guys do the fighting for me. And I know that sounds crazy, but I used to be so offended when men wouldn't take me seriously. I've been called someone like an assistant at one point or whatever. And now I let the work speak for itself. But that's me, right? That's not everyone else. I have friends who are in the entertainment industry who, you know, have experienced some uncomfortable things being in a male-dominated industry. I'm lucky, I'm mostly androgynous, so most of the time they don't even think I play in their lane. But for me, I've used the men around me to fight the fight for me. I can't do it myself. So I've asked my friends and said, this guy spoke to me this way, and they will speak up for me, in hopes that one day we won't have to be in this situation. But knowing where I come from, that was one of the biggest things I struggled with. And I'll be honest, I hate this question because I suffer from imposter syndrome. So I don't know how I got here. You know what I mean? So whenever I'm asked, what is the advice that you have to give, I shut down, because I'm like, to me, it's almost like a fluke that I am where I am. I was meant to be studying this, I'm in business, but I hate it when people say things like perseverance and hard work, and we live in a world now where you have to network. So you have to, and it's a tough thing to say, because not everyone can walk into a place and start talking to people. But I think in a time where unemployment is so high, and in a time where, you know, things aren't as easy as they used to be, you can't just send a CV or whatever, you have to find a way to find yourself in the spaces of the industry you want to be in. You know what I mean? And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to, like, for example, if you want to be a DJ, you want to go there and pop bottles and whatnot. No, calm down. Gotta go there and start speaking to people, you know, and start engaging people and start doing research. Who's the manager? Stop trying to speak to the artist. Who's the manager? You know, they hate it, by the way. You know, who's the head of Sony? Who, you know, like, there's no point now in talking about hard work and perseverance because people have been doing that their whole lives. I believe networking is where it's at. I also believe research into what you actually want to do and what it takes. YouTube is there, you know, there's tutorials, there's all of these things of how to get where you are and how to do it, for example, in a tech-savvy way or financial way. And in a world of social media, another thing I would say is find a way to differentiate yourself from everyone else. So next we've got obviously a couple of events lined up. Hopefully we'll be able to open up more restaurants, more, once we've figured this out properly, more restaurants, more spaces, create more events that are inclusive. My thing that I think is personally for me is I just want to make more money so I can employ more people. That it bothers me that we're still a team of like 8, you know, and that's purely based on finance, the way the economy is, you know. My strategist gets paid more than me. So it's just about, yeah, those are the things that I want. I want to employ more people. I want to have a voice in South Africa, in government, in politics. I want to open up more spots. I'm only 28, so hopefully I have time, but yeah, let's get into Africa and show them what South Africans are actually about. Hi everyone, my name is Amahle Jaxa, Chief of Operations and founder of Until, and I wanted to wish you a happy Youth Month from us at Until and Kaya.